your man, the Gross Man, here playing Planet Base. And if you're watching, which is cool, I want to tell you this is a very difficult game. Okay? It's basically you land on a planet and you have to build a colony. And I built this colony, this entire colony, the power grid, the water grid, food, storage, factories, the whole 9 yards. And I'm pretty proud of it because, you know, this is not easy to do at all. If you make one mistake starting out in the game, you'll wipe. You know, one little error and you're screwed. Now, even now, I could make one change to this base, and it could collapse the entire economy and kill every single one of my little humans running around in this base, you know, producing plastics, robots, you know. But it's pretty fun. I enjoy it. But just to give you an idea, this is the base as it looks right now. This is the base that I just built, okay? Now, let me show you what this game looks like from the beginning. Your dropship here. And here come my colonists hopping up out the dropship. All that started with just these 7 people and these 2 robots. And this is what the map looks like when you first start. Just empty, nothing. You have to build a colony, and it's difficult. It's a challenge for sure. See what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this. You start out. You don't have a lot of resources to start with, and you don't have a lot of resources to start with, and you got to use these really small pieces of equipment if you're smart, so that you can build a self-sustaining colony. So first, you got to work on your power grid. So here come my colonists, pulling supplies out of the ship and bringing it over here. So we'll go ahead and speed up the clock. See, they built my collector that stores electricity. Got my solar panel. Alright, got my water pump because you need that to produce oxygen. And there you go. Grid is live. Slow it back down. Alright. So it is critical that you get oxygen right away. So the next thing I need to build is an airlock. That will give my colonists access to this oxygen generator. There you go. Building an oxygen generator. Now, you also are going to need a water tower. And you're also going to need... These wind turbines are not as reliable and don't produce as much power as the solar panels. But if you don't build them, you'll be sorry. Because at night, that solar panel don't put out any power. And at least these do. And see? Here they go. Slow it back down. I gotta slow it down so that I don't waste colonists' time. You know? Here's my engine. This guy is my engineer. He's the only one of them that can build things. Aside from this robot right here, that's a build bot. And it's going to help him build the colony. So, there you go. Now, the next thing you really need, and I made this a little bit more spread out to start with. I usually keep it really tight. But on this map, you can spread it out a little bit. See, you're going to need, that's my storage. But I want to get away from this grid right here because I'm going to replace that later with bigger and badder pieces of equipment, see? And the first thing you want to replace is this little bitty collector, because it won't get you through the night hardly. You can't even run the whole grid of a self-sustaining colony on this itty-bitty collector. So, you got to replace that right away. Which I've already screwed up. I've already wiped on this game. I've already wiped because I can't remove this collector from this grid. See, you can recycle it. Recycling this construction would split the base in two. Can't do it. So this colony is a wipe. Just like that. That one mistake. See, anytime. See, you got to make these daisy chains of the equipment. See, but what I should have done is put the solar panel down and then drop a collector like next to it like that, so that like these, see, I can remove these, see, because there are not other pieces of equipment dependent on them. So, but yeah, this is what I'm talking about. You know, I wasn't really playing to win. I was just making this video to show you again. But yeah, that's the kind of critical error right there that'll get you wiped on this game. Just not branching that daisy chain right, you know. So, but this is a fun game, and you know, he's building my storage here, and you also have to build a kitchen. If you don't, your colonists will die of thirst. You also have to build a sleeping area, or they'll never get any rest. You also have to build a grow room to grow food, and then you also have to build a factory to process starch into plastic and ore into steel, and then you have to build also one of these factories. You can't build it right away. You have to build this processing center first, right? But you build this processing plant will turn ore and plastic into commodities like guns, microprocessors, and the most critical item that you produce is an item called spares. And spares, see, each one of these components right here that produce power, they wear out over time. And as they fall into disrepair, they produce less and less power. So if you don't produce enough spares, it's a wipe. You have to be able to produce enough spares to keep the grid up and running, or you're done. Game over. At some point, you know, you're just done. And there's a really good way to tell how you're doing on the grid. So you got all these charts, you know. But that's the game, and it's hella fun. I've been binging on it. But well, that's pretty much just a quick summary, and I just, you know, felt like sharing it. So everyone, take care. Have a nice day.